Hi there, I'm Chelsea with Ascender Asana, and welcome to day 3 of our 5-day handstand series. So we talked about the foundation and warm-ups in day 1. Day 2 we went over some strength drills, and day 3 we're going to be going over how to enter into handstand and then how to safely fall out of handstand. So I'll be showing you a few ways to enter into handstand. We'll be doing a couple more drills to get that foundational strength for kind of hopping up into handstand, and then how to safely exit out of without completely losing your shit and falling on your face, because we don't want that, pardon my language. So let's get started. Start out for our first exercise in a simple lunge kick up. And so when we're doing this, again, we want to refer back to our day 1 foundational drills where we're setting our foundation. So pressing through that index finger mound, turning our hands out if we need to, and then splaying out and clawing at the mat, and then wrapping our triceps in. And then also don't forget to tuck, do that rib knitting and tucking, getting that nice hollowness through the abdomen as we do this as well. So for our first exercise, we're going to start with our hands already on the mat, and we're going to put our dominant leg forward. So you can start with whichever leg you want, but you'll notice that more often your dominant leg is the one that you will kick up with. So push whichever leg you're going to push up with the most forward. And we're just going to get into a nice stance here. And again, we're going to start with our hands already on the mat. And so for this one, I'm kind of putting my right leg kind of in between. And we want to get a nice, good stance, nice spring in our step here. So checking your hands and pushing through that index finger mound. Let's bow at those elbows and wrap those triceps in. Nice inhale and exhale. Knit our ribs, pressing the mat away. All we want to do is try to kick up to bring that back leg up. And so when we're keeping this leg forward, because we're keeping it forward, that leg will provide the weight that'll pull us back this way instead of tipping us over. So we just kind of kick up, and keeping that leg straight, kick up, kick up. It's okay if this one kind of flings over the body. Ideally you want to try to keep it, straight in line. So if you notice, if you lose balance, try to, you can bend your knees, try to fall forward, but one way we can practice falling is you want to give in one of your arms. So you never want to just bend both your arms, because that's how you'll face plant. If you find that you're falling, what you want to do is kind of give a little in one arm, and your body will naturally fall in that direction, and you can cartwheel out of it. So say I'm up, I'm like, oh no, oh, I gave in that arm. That was a bad example. Let me try that again. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna fall. I gave in my left arm, I fell to my left. I would show you on my right, but then I'd fall into all my plants. So ideally, you never want to just lock out your elbows when you feel you're falling, because then you could fall backward, and if you don't have that mobility, you could just really fall and plant yourself really hard on your back. And that's not what we're going for. So if you find that you're falling, just give a little, and your body will naturally cartwheel over to that side. So I hope that helps you a little bit. And feel free to give that a try. And okay, we'll try it. So now we'll try it with our non-dominant leg. Not falling, but jumping up. So we'll get in that same stance, this time using that leg, And what I notice is that when I'm using my non-dominant leg to kick up, I just more forcefully lift up with my dominant leg. So it's kind of funny. Let's try it this way. So nice kick up and back down. Kick up, trying to keep our elbows straight when we do this. It's okay to kind of bend them as you're coming up, but then yeah, you want to keep them straight as you come up. See if you can hold, and then back down. So that's one exercise you can do. Another exercise is to start with your hands up and kind of towards the mat, and then get a little more momentum to kick yourself up. So again, you can put your dominant leg forward. We'll put our hands out in front of us, and we'll just kind of hop this way. Place your hands down, hop up. You'll notice that gives you more momentum, and then back up. Hop. See if you can balance just a bit, and back down, and again. Ideally, you want to be shifting your weight so you're over your shoulders, but not so much so that you're falling forward. So let's just try this a couple more. If you want, you can flip and do your non-dominant leg. So we'll get in the stance, hop up, and back down. Ta-da! Hop up, and back down. So you notice sometimes I'm not getting my weight fully over my shoulders, and then I fall down a lot quicker. So you do kind of want to shift that weight if you can over your shoulders. And again, it's also because I'm using my non-dominant leg. If I do my dominant, I'm a lot more comfortable and a lot more powerful. So you can play around and notice which leg works a lot better for you when doing this exercise. So do you see what I just did there? I kind of bent my knee. When you do that, you're pulling that center of gravity more towards your body, so it's easier to balance. When your legs are kind of flared out like that, your balance is kind of all over the place. So when you do what we call a stag leg, where you bend both of those knees, it kind of keeps that center of gravity right where you want it, and it's a lot easier to balance. So let's practice starting in this position and come up, and then bend your knees. So I'll show you what I mean. So come up, bend those knees, see if you can balance, and back down. Down, see if you can balance, bend those knees, point those toes, straighten out, push the mat away, and back down. I find it way easier to balance that way, and if you can learn to hold a handstand with that stag leg, that's a really beneficial way just to build strength. So our next exercise is just going to be a downward dog tuck jump. So one way to jump up into handstand is to jump with both legs. So I'll kind of just show you what I mean. So like that. So you just use both of your legs, and that prevents that dominant, one leg being more dominant than the other. You're pushing off both legs equally. And I find it a lot easier to catch my balance in a handstand when I jump off of both legs. Personally, that's just me. You may be the opposite, and that's okay. But one way to kind of practice this is to start in a downward dog, and then bend those knees, and then just do, I like to walk my hands just in a little bit. So bend those knees, gaze through your fingertips, and just jump up and back down. So ideally you don't want to like jump up so much that you're like, whoo, in a scorpion. You kind of want to keep it so your knees, you want to try to keep those knees tucked and compressed towards your chest. And one way you can practice that is with a block in your knees. Although I find this extremely hard for some reason. I like hate this exercise. But that's one way to kind of keep that compression. And so you might not be able to go all the way up, but you'll at least be keeping that compression. But if you don't want to do this with the block, or you don't have a block, it's totally okay to just start in downward dog, bend those knees, jump up, and then back down. think about bending or landing with bent knees and then springing back up. So bend, gaze between your fingertips, pressing into that index finger mound, bend those arms, wrap those triceps, and jump and back down. So again, ideally you are trying to push your weight over so you can balance on your hands just a bit at the top. But this exercise is really just kind of getting us used to jumping, so it's okay if you don't make it that far. So bend, pushing the mat away as you reach the top, and then landing back down. And then landing back down. Great. So now we're going to practice with a chair. So if you have a chair, feel free to grab that. I'm going to go grab mine. You can kind of place it on your mat. If you have a bench, like a workout bench, that would work even better. But for now, I'm just going to use a chair because everyone has a chair. And you kind of want to just stand away wherever you're going to place your feet. Kind of look where your hips land, and that's where you'll want to place your arms on the mat or your hands on the mat. And I usually like to walk mine in just a bit. So then you can kind of place your feet on the mat or on your chair. Get the proper positioning with your arms. Put both feet on the chair. And you don't want to be jumping off your chair. That's not the point of this exercise. The point is just to get a little more comfortable, pushing the mat away and coming into this position. So you can keep your knees bent or you can straighten them. I personally have a really hard time with pike. I find it really hard on my lower back. I have limited back mobility and then also tight hamstrings. But you can, ideally you'd want to straighten out your legs, keep those elbows straight, and get into this nice pike position. If you want, you can practice bringing one leg up and then the other. Or just holding it here. So that's one way to do it. A lot of people learn with a chair. Otherwise, you can also do this with your feet against the wall. I'm out of breath. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. So tomorrow, please join me for day 4. We're going to be learning how to leverage the wall to further assist us in our handstand journey. So thank you so much, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.